Well, also joining us in the studio now is the Chief Executive of the Ramadhan Foundation, Mohammed Shafiq. We've heard a lot this week from police, from other MPs who say this is absolutely not a race issue, but you don't agree with that?
Well, let's look at the facts of the case. And there were 77 recent convictions, 67 of British Pakistani men. In all them cases, the victims are white. So as a community, we've got to recognise we've got a problem. There are some, and it's a small minority of Pakistani men who think white girls are worthless. They think they don't have any morals. They think they can be used and abused in this abhorrent sort of way. And we've got to confront that. And that's what I've been doing for over 6 years, campaigning against this. We've got a challenge. But I think you've got to put it in the wider context also. 80% of sexual abuse that is committed in this country is carried out by white men. It would have been nice to have seen a more wider coverage of them cases. The media obsession with this issue is important, that we're able to talk about this, but I think it's going to be put in the context it is.
Sure, but do you worry sometimes that your earlier comments are in a way inflaming the issue, giving fuel to far-right groups?
Well, I think I've stopped the BNP and EDL taking political advantage. You did not see in the last 48 hours the BNP EDL taking political advantage. That you saw myself and other representatives of my community filling that gap. And I think that's the way to defeat the BNP EDL, is to confront the issue, to be open and honest about it. And that's what we've been doing. Yes, we've got an added responsibility in our community, but I think as Arif was referring to, there's been an abject failure of Greater Manchester Police and the Crown Prosecution Service and Rochdale Social Services. They've let down victims. The victims were let down. And I think that just saying sorry is not good enough.
Well, let me bring in Graham Stringer. Why do you think it's taken so long for this to be taken seriously? Is there a fear of coming across as racist? Are the authorities worried about that?
I simply don't know the answer to that. But there should be an inquiry to find out the answer definitively, rather than me just saying, I believe this. I think there is some truth in the fact that many of the public services, the police in particular, are frightened of appearing to be racist. They jump all over the place in terms of what their definition is. If they go back to the basic definition of what racism is that came out of the Stephen Lawrence inquiry.
Education, social workers should have done more, police should have done more. But I'd actually like to know what it is that makes somebody think that grooming is okay. We seem to leap away immediately onto all of these other services that should have stopped this from happening. But actually, this isn't okay. So what is it that makes a person do this? Do we need to understand more as a society what actually leads someone to behave in this way?
But how do we do that? I mean, that's
I think it's quite dangerous to say that we shouldn't be blaming the police. That this girl, one particular victim, went to the police in 2008, made a complaint, it was passed on to CPS, and the CPS failed and said she wasn't a credible witness. And so
of
the
course
system...
they've apologised, haven't they?
I'm also not saying we shouldn't be blaming the police.
Apology is not good enough, because this person was then sent back into the environment of abuse, and further girls were attacked. Let me just tell you what's happened this week in Rochdale. We've seen imams get up and confront this issue, something which I've been calling for the last 6 years. Finally, we're seeing action on this. So I think Rochdale has been a catalyst in getting change on this issue, and I think the brightest future. But we've got to stay focused on the victims because of what they've been put through.
Okay, thank you very much.